So the schedule released earlier this week. Interesting schedule. We already knew our opponents, but how they set it up is very interesting. But first, let me go over on both sides of the ball. Like this year, I am not one of those fans that's saying this is our year. I am very aware of what's going on. We got millions of situations going on. Contracts, depth chart, coaching changes, etc. Yeah. Let's start with the offense. I want to get Dak paid as soon as possible because I feel like he can very much dictate this season in a good way or in a bad way. For instance, let me just give you an example. Next contract, the number associated with that contract very seriously. So if we go into this season with the mindset of, lowballing him or not paying him or, letting him play it out, you can just think, make business decisions throughout the year, like not put his body on the line. I don't want to say not go as hard. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where Dak can go. We're kind of in his hands if we do that. So, and then also with CeeDee Lamb, you got to pay him too. He's very crucial to this offense. He had a breakout year last year. I'm very proud of him. I just ended very poorly in that Green Bay game, I would say. But overall in the season, he deserves his money as well. And I think it's unwise for you to wait until Justin Jefferson get his money. I think that's very unwise. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, going on with this offense though. The moves this season and the way that the rookies we brought in, as you know, this is a season. I mean, this is a rookie class that we brought in to set the foundation for the future. And I feel like these guys can have an impact now. Now, being said, I am looking for very much paying attention in this preseason because a lot of situations is going to be handled there. And then with the brewing fact of Mike McCarthy is pretty much coaching for his life, and the looming force of the Jones family of pushing some of the players they drafted is going to be annoying with them. I'm going to be happy with McCarthy if he just says, F it, I'm coaching for my life, leave me alone. I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do it my way. Yeah, young O-lineman game. What I'm asking for, that's why I'm mentioning the running back and O-lineman. I want a efficient run game this season. What I'm very much going to be very much paying attention to is the selective running backs or the running back situation that McCarthy is going to adjust to game. Like I know we may go into the scene every game this season, having 3 to 4 running backs. But hey, I feel like everyone should just get an equal load across the board. They're based on personnel situation and the team we're facing. More backs should value versus the other. I'm interested to see the packages he's going to come out with. The tight end situation is going to be very interesting. I'm very big on that. Jake Ferguson, big breakout year ahead. He's going to stamp himself to the rest of the league to let them know. I want steady growth from the O-line. Big year from Terrence Steele. He was coming off the ACL this year, so I'm expecting better for that. And then, so if we can have ease at the top with Dak Prescott, I feel like we can be fine. I'm really much seeing, I want to see a balance this year. And we don't have to blow teams out the water or just light them up. I want to see balance. I'm interested to see who is going to step up to be Dak's next weapon. We need to surround Dak with weapons. We got Ryan Flournoy. We got a couple very much wanted from the defense. The defense, we got Coach Zim coming in. It's a blank slate. We don't know how we're going to do this year with, because we have nothing to work with. He already stated in his interviews that we are light in some areas. So I can only, commend his wise approach of noticing like, hey, loving the front seven, the revamp. Well, not entirely. I'm loving the linebacker situation, as I mentioned in the last video. I feel like we got proper running backs to do a balance of cover and fit and run fits, which is going to be crucial. Zimmer is he's already made an emphasis that We are going to stop the run. We're going to be a stop run team. So I'm seeing that. I'm just worried about, to be honest, is the nose tackle and interior D lineman situation. Osa as the 3 tech, I am not mad at that. He's a great 3 tech. I'm only worried about the 1 and 0s. Right now, we have Mozzie Smith, Justin Rogers, and Carl Davis. So Mozzie Smith is coming off his shoulder injury, so he's doing a year of rehab. Justin Rogers, a 7th round pick, and Carl Rogers. Now, if he can literally, I'm looking forward this year if he can really simplify their roles down, and it's just literally just defense. I need to see game to game improvement. People being bought in, and I want to see leaders emerge and a physicality injector from game to game. That's what I'm trying to look for within this team. But as you know, we got a new coach, so I don't have high expectations. I'm not asking them to go out there to be the number 1 defense. I want them to be, show improvement. Now, if you get there, okay, now my expectations from you do change. If you're a top end defense, okay, but I'm done with the Dan Quinn BS. I'm done having Dan Quinn's defense was nothing but a 5-star bologna sandwich, a 5-star grilled cheese. That's the best, analogy I can think of. It was literally a bend really all the way almost break defense. Not a bend but don't break, but bend almost break. Because, when you take the defense apart and isolate certain areas, which that's what the good teams did, they focused in on, the weakness, we eventually broke. But when teams got cute and when it was, using the run to set up the pass and they didn't the pass, and then, you put the ball in the hands of their quarterback, that's when we had our, DBs make, plays by jumping routes and etc. And that's when they fell into us. Like, I can't ignore that when you took our defense apart and you broke it down level for level, we were like fundamentally not sound. We were still undisciplined. So I am looking for those aspects of these, this year. I am looking for traits and an identity, a solid identity for this team. And I want it to be my identity, a sound, fundamentally sound, run gap, solid defense that can get off the field on money downs or third down. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. So getting to the schedule with all that knowing, let's go to the schedule. Now the first game is versus the Cleveland Browns. This is a big game. It's gonna be an early test. We got a lot of young guys coming in, and what I'm worried about from the offensive standpoint, from our offensive standpoint, okay, we got rookie left tackle going against the defensive player of the year. That's something to keep an eye on. They got a good secondary, and we are limited on paper within the weapon tree. So I'm eager to see how McCarthy schemes up versus that. And yeah, from the offensive standpoint, I just want us to be physical. Can we establish the run game early? It doesn't have to be dominant, but it needs to be established, if that makes sense. 3.9 to 4.3 yards per carry. I am looking for that. I'm trying to get if we after 2 runs we're making it a 3rd and short. Can we value every possession? From the defensive standpoint, this is gonna be the test. I mean, I know it's early on, but the aspect of the Dallas Cowboys, we can't stop the run, and we're facing a team who's going to run the ball. They're not gonna put the ball in Deshaun Watson's hands. They're gonna put him in pass, play action situations, but they're gonna straight up try to run it down your throat. And they have, if he's healthy, a signature back that can break you down. So it's gonna be an ugly, muddy game, and I'm very eager to see. Next game, the Saints. In my opinion, with the Saints, they're just a mid team. Not a test to me. I'm not. Anything can happen because the Saints do play us well, but their offense. From our defensive standpoint, looking at their offense, can we stay sound and rattle Derek Carr? If you can rattle Derek Carr, you can pretty much demolish this team from a philosophical standpoint, psychological standpoint. from our offensive perspective, they have a solid defense, solid secondary, can control their pass rushers, and yeah, this is a continued learning curve for this team. I think this team is still one of the best run defenses in the country. I mean, yeah, in the NFL. So yeah, next game is the Ravens. Now, the Ravens is one of the games I am circling on this schedule. This is my Kool-Aid measuring for me to buy in for a deep playoff run. Now, I know this is early on. I can understand it. I understand it. We do not do well versus running quarterbacks. Now, I believe Lamar Jackson does not run as often, but this is a fundamentally sound team. This is a true playoff contention team. So from our defensive standpoint, what is the quarterback spy, philosophy? Can we stop the run? Because this team is going to run it. They got this is one of the teams that keeps 6 running backs, on the active roster because they run through them like that. So, and if we were going to be able to stop the run, the young wide receiver out there, can we stop him? From our standpoint, from the offensive standpoint, Dak, this is going to be a challenge. I know they lost a lot of guys. I think they lost their coordinator. They lost Patrick Queen. But to me, I love that duo, but Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. But the dog was Roquan Smith. And as long as the leader is still there, his attitude and philosophy is going to bleed into the others. So, yeah, and this is one of the top. I'm predicting they're going to be one of the top pass defenses again because they got some dogs in the secondary. So, will we get overwhelmed because they're going to make an effort to try to take out CD. So it's going to be crucial to get the run game started and get our guys open and let Dak be surgical if possible. So, yeah, New York game. I miss New York. We always beat New York, honestly. So, I mean, this is a year to be watch out for. They got the new wide receiver. They got a solid. Well, the running back situation for them is going to be interesting. Still Daniel Jones there. I heard they got Drew Lock now. So they're going to be playing with house money. Yes, they still got Dayball. Dayball is a fundamentally sound. He's going to have them. He's going to get the best out of those guys. So it's a game we can't, look over. From the defensive standpoint, or from our offensive standpoint, actually, and on the Giants defense, their D-line is going to be for real this year. They got Brian Burns now. They got Kayvon Thibodeau, and they still got Dexter Lawrence. So their defense is going to be for real. The problem is going to probably be their secondary because they just lost Xavier McKinney, and he was very their secondary already wasn't that. They were like middle of the pack, but so they're going to take a dip. They got a lot of rookies in there, so they're going to be developing a lot of guys as well. Next is the Steelers. Mike Tomlin. Never sleep on Mike Tomlin because his attitude. You're gonna trust this team. They're gonna play great defense. They're going to play sound football. So from our offensive standpoint on their defense, we really need to establish the run game, locate TJ Watt, etc. We got to be sound on there. Another test. We got their secondaries is also good. Yeah, and then from our defensive standpoint, whether it be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, they still got to worry about Najee Harris. This is going to be this is a question mark for them as well. Like going against, there's a lot of things we don't know about their offense. Their offense can be catch hot or catch fire, or it can be very cold. Either way, we got to play sound defense. The Lions, circle it. Yeah, we won last year. We got out of there. I think we pretty won. My opinion, we won this game pretty handily last year. I feel like it was a missed tripping call, etc. So they're gonna come back this year more amped than ever. And we're playing this at home, so this is a good thing. From our defensive standpoint on their offense, man, that two-headed monster in the backfield. That's gonna be a test. I'm looking at all these running games. That's gonna be a test. You still got Jared Goff, who just got paid, so he's gonna come in, try to prove that contract. Sam Laporta didn't really go off in that game, so we got to really pay attention. This is a new defense that we had. Dan Quinn defense pretty much took Sam Laporta out the game, so we don't know how he's gonna play in this game. And then you also got to worry about the receiver, number 14. I'm blanking on his name, but you know him. He's a burner, and he's very good. He got his money as well. From our offense's perspective, now their secondary has taken a big turnover because I mean he didn't play last year, but I think I'm really talking about C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He really didn't play last year, but Cam Sutton is also gone. They got a couple. They traded with us to go get the cornerback. They got I don't believe it was Nate Wiggins. I'm not gonna say who it was, but it was one of the top end corners, the rookie. So just know their secondary is gonna be young. The front end is gonna be good with Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know if trying to blame. I think I'm blanking if they really added to it. They linebacking room. They're hungry. They're gonna scrape. So it's gonna be crucial that we start. It's gonna be a clock management game for that game because it's gonna be two teams. They're gonna run the ball to try to emphasize it, and then we're gonna have to control the clock as well, or we can get behind 2 possessions, and that may be the game. Then we got a bye, which is crucial for me because then the next game is versus the Niners. Now this is another circle the game, very important game. So you're gonna have at least 2 weeks to plan for this game, Mike McCarthy. You're coaching for your life. I am really going to be interested to see what you draw up for the Niners. We haven't beaten the Niners in probably almost like 4+ years, and they have a psychological advantage on us because they're just one of the teams we just can't beat no matter what situation it is. Away, home, this is going to be at Santa Clara. This is going to be a tough game, very tough game. From the defensive standpoint, their offense, Brock Purdy, another year with the coach, Kyle Shanahan. So he's going to be even more confident in there. Maybe Kyle Shanahan this year is going to loosen the reins of the offense to get him, more. So we're going to see more of his ability this year. I know I was one of the ones very critical and adamant. He's very much a game manager, but hey, he's doing it well. They added some new pieces there. I mean, we don't know what their wide receiver situation is going to be at today, but they're still there. Their offensive line, as far as the left side, still elite. Tight ends, their run game is going to be there. Christian McCaffrey is still there. Here's another test, Mike Zimmer. Can you take their run game out of the game? Because in my opinion, if it's anything from last year, if you can take away their run game, you can take away the Niners. Like that is their entire team. That is when Brock Purdy literally falls apart. Then from an offensive standpoint from us and on their defense, they lost quite a bit in their defense as well. I think they lost a couple of D linemen. I think it was Eric Armstead that's gone, right? And yeah, it's still the former Eagle. He's still there. I'm blanking on his name. Hargrave. He's still there. I don't know if Chase is still there. Nick Bosa is still there. Fred Warner is still there, period, point blank. How about that? He's the anchor of the entire defense, what makes them go. It's going to be very important, Mike McCarthy, that you get your guys in line. And we need to outsmart Fred Warner this game. How are we going to do that? I know last time we faced him, it wasn't that, long into the offense. But hey, new year, more time, more offseason. Let's get it done. Falcons, this is going to be a good game as well. Can't sleep on them. They got Kirk Cousins, and they were just a team that was brewing. So we got to get serious with them as well because they have a lot of young talent. They've been drafting pretty well, and they may pop this year. A lot of people are big up on them. That's from our defensive standpoint on their offense because they got Bijan, they got Drake London, and they got Kyle Pitts. They're waiting to pop. They're waiting to blow. So that's from the defense standpoint. From our offensive standpoint, they have a pretty good defense, but their pass rush is not just it. So we need to dominate them. But their passing defense, they're like that. So what game plan will you have there? All right, next game is the first Eagles game. I'm gonna knock them both out. I think we always split at home. Hey, I mean this is Why not sweep him? Why not? I mean, from the defensive standpoint, they did not, in my opinion, did not fix their issues. They did draft. Their front end of the draft was pretty well, in my opinion, unbiased. The 2 first picks, for what they got them, but they got still come in and play, and they have like 0 to none veteran leadership that's gonna be able to teach those guys. I mean, Darius Slay is still there, but James Bradbury is probably on his way out. D lineman, they lost Hassan Reddick. It's going to be bigger than what the Eagles fans even think of. I mean, they brought in the guy from the Jets who was a rotational piece. He's solid, but he's not Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick was a defensive player of the year candidate. So that's not the same, in my opinion. So, I mean, they have a new coordinator, Vic Fangio. We'll see about that. From our defensive standpoint on their offense, now they do got Saquon now. This is another test, so they will be trying to run the ball, in my opinion. If I don't know, because we know Kellen Moore, and Kellen Moore is gonna force the pass and be a dumbass. So I'm banking on he's gonna do it, but we'll see if Nick Sirianni be like, hey, no, we need to run the ball. But they also lost Kelsey. That's going to hurt them more than they even imagine, in my opinion. I don't think they understand how much Jason Kelsey did for them. So, yeah, and they bring all their weapons back. So that's going to be a solid game. The Texans, a very, very hyped up game. I'm very interested to see, too. This team's going to come in hungry, want to, knock us out, trying to show that they're the best team in Texas. How will you respond? From a run game aspect, I don't know what they have from the offensive run game. Because Joe Mixon, they got him. I thought it was solid, but there's a reason why the Bengals got rid of him, in my opinion. So we're gonna see that in a combination with their O-line. Is it gonna be the same? I know C.J. Stroud is gonna come to play. They added Stephon Diggs. They already had Nico Collins. So it's gonna be very important that we take away the run game, and if we're making them one-dimensional, but that's the dimension they're actually good in. So let's see if we can keep that pass defense that we had last year. We got a lot of guys coming from injury, but this is far into the season, like so yeah. So everyone should be pretty much I want to say healthy, but close to it. So better progressing. From our offensive standpoint, their rushing or their pass rush is formidable. They added the guy from the Vikings, so that's something to take a look at. I think they still have a lot of holes in their secondary, but this is a team that's young, hungry, and their whole head coach, he's got that that vendetta, that aura that's going to spread to the rest of the team. So they're going to play, inspired football and confident, and that's all you can ask for. So yeah. The Washington Commanders, man. I think the rivalry is back. I really hate this team. As you know, I hated Dan Quinn for what he did, how he did it, etc. They poaching our coaches, poaching our players, but they got a formidable roster there. And if anything, I would give that Dan Quinn does succeed in the first year. That's one thing I would give him. So we're gonna see how Jaden Daniels is, a young quarterback. This is not a walk in the park like last year. This is not something we can just push over again. So that's going to be very interesting. Then we got the Giants again. I just went over that. Then we got the Bengals. Okay. We got to see how Joey B is. That team, that's going to be another solid. I want to circle that game, but we beat the Bengals like without Dak one time. So they be up and down with the season. I'm not circling teams who I know they're not going to be the playoff version of themselves. Like the team, I know the Lions going to come to play. I know the Ravens are going to be the best version of themselves. I know the Niners. With the Texans, I know they're going to play inspired, so it's, that's somewhat like it. But with the Bengals, they are so up and down during the season, and this is historically for them. Like this, I don't know, but if they are their best version of themselves. Look, it's a formidable defense and a formidable offense, and they got a great defensive coordinator. So establishing the run. Now with their run game, I don't know who I think they drafted a running back, if I may recall. So it's going to be very important that we play sound football because Joe Burrow is pretty smart. The Panthers. This is not a rollover game again. This is not the same team that went 1-16 last year. It's another year, new coach, new aura. They got some players. They got Jonathan Brooks, so they may establish a run game as well. This can be just like the Arizona Cardinals game from last year, where they sneak up on us. So we cannot look over that game, in my opinion. From the defensive standpoint, they got the corners that's coming back. I'm blanking on his name. They drafted a couple of years ago. They got coming back. Solid D line. This is a team that's going to be progressing, so do not sleep on them. If I make sense. Tampa Bay. I'm predicting Tampa Bay is going to take a very much of a step back this year, but they're going to still be a competitive team. Still got Baker Mayfield. Still got Mike Williams. Still got, their defense. You know, one thing you can count on Tampa Bay is having one of the best run defenses in the league because they got Vita Vea. So Cooper Beebe. This is what we drafted you for. Then we got Eagles again and Commanders. So yeah, it's a solid schedule. I do love how it is. The big games are like it's not they're like front loaded, but then like it's like they slope down. Like it goes the front of the schedule is the hardest, and then it gets easier and easier and easier. So we're gonna see how well we're gonna go game from game this season. I'm really paying attention I'm gonna make a video going over the preseason. I'm paying attention during the preseason. As you know, I'm trying to see what Trey Lance is. Is this the year we get rid of Cooper Rush? The running back battles. There's a lot of battles that's going to be going on. So I encourage you to watch the preseason as well. Just pay attention to what's going on with these rotational guys. Overshown, like just coming back for the linebacker out of Texas that we drafted last year. I think he's gonna break out this year. The defensive tackles, look to see how they take on blocks. Or are they getting moved 2 to 3 yards off the ball, or if they're anchoring down and allowing our linebackers to fit the run gaps well. Then who's gonna step up to be the next weapon for Dak? Tight ends, DBs. The Kalen Carson kid. How is he gonna do? Pay attention to the little things. That's what I encourage you to do during this preseason. Let's go Cowboys. Until next time, man. Peace.